Okay, how's everyone doing? Is everyone awake back there? This is like one of those grade 8 dances where all the wallflowers stay there and the music comes on and no one dances. Okay, let's see if we can liven it up a little bit here. So what do I do here? This is my orient.
Green is advanced slide.
Okay.
And if you need to go back, it's
Alrighty.
and then that's a laser point.
Okay. So I have 9 disclaimer slides that I have to read in Polish, Mandarin, and so you'll just bear with me. So if I decide not to change anything while I'm talking, this is the plan for this presentation today. So just go through some scope. I've been up here last year. We were just getting things going the last time I talked to the group. Some business development strategies that we've come up with. Some key milestones and accomplishments. We're looking at the project execution plan. So we want to do that deploy alpha team kind of deal and get things rocking and rolling. And we'll be open for questions if you want afterwards. Whoops. That's what that red one's for, eh? Okay, so where's this project? So this Atlas Salt project's over in St. George's, not too far from where you guys are down the road. Our base case of our feasibility study is at 2.5 million tons a year. Now this is an underground mine with a very small footprint. I heard of 40 hectares in your presentation, Josh, and so the whole footprint for this mine is within 40 hectares, right? Our market focus is on road de-icing. So the material that we do have is 98.7% pure, but we're using it all for road salt. With a little tequila and a lemon, that also works. So there's a lot of flexibility with our product for a long-term sustainability. And our key infrastructure is basically all going to be underground, right? And that's one of the great things about this project is the fact that, you know, the noise, the gases, all the things that go along with the poor optics of mining sometimes, this is all self-contained in an underground environment for the most part, other than some logistics to get it out to the port. So here's the footprint. So you'll see we have, is there a laser here too? Is it this thing here?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Oh, sorry, don't want to take anyone's eyeballs out here. I think I'm just going to talk to it. So you see where the conveyor is coming up from underground. You've got your 2 twin adits, our twin declines. So one of the first things we do after we get this up and going is get our box cuts in, and then there's 2 twin declines that go down approximately 1,500 meters underground. Then we hit the salt bed, and our base case is 2.5 million tons a year, mining with continuous miners. The development of it is going to be conventional drill and blast development. And you can see footprint-wise, other than the distribution, it's really about getting that conveyance up and over to the port, which is approximately 2 kilometers down from where you see it on the end of this slide. So, relatively speaking to St. George, again, there's in red, there's your footprint of the mine. Very small footprint, and there's a historical haul road, Flintcoat Road, where the gypsum mine, which we also own, Ace Pit, is out in that general direction. And there's been trucking of gypsum materials over the years down that road. Naturally, once the mine gets up and running, the phasing out of a gypsum due to the logistics at the port will require us to utilize 35,000 ton ships coming in to support the 2.5 million ton a year base case. So that gives you some flexibility there. And never forget about Chubb's convenience store. So I think somewhere along the line there's a few spots there that wanted some promotion in here. So we've got Chubb's, we've got, what else do we have? Central Service Station is in there too, so attention shoppers. Okay, let's look at the overall schedule, our snapshot in time as it is now. So a year ago I stood up here and said we're going to be starting the environmental permitting process. Well, that's gone very well. Within 54 days, I believe it was, Alistair, our CFO here, he is my BS detector in anything that I say that might not be true, but I believe it was around 54 days. We signed up with ICI. That's a Guinness Book of World Records. I haven't been able to confirm it with Guinness, but just trust me, like for putting an EA through any process in Canada these days, that's very, very significant. And that just goes to show you the preparedness we had and putting this all together and the teamwork with ICI, who I'll talk about a little later, to put this all in place. So we have our EA permitting in place. We've got our early works development plan going into the government very shortly, if not already. And then we've got our construction, capital construction permitting. We look to start our detailed engineering sometime in February. And then you look at the construction procurement processes and closed notes version. Let's go right to the finish line. Is, you know, it's in 2030 where we're going to be seeing production out of this. Okay, so I talked a little bit about the strategies, the business strategies. The current markets where we're going for is the Eastern Seaboard, and that's Quebec, Maritime, down through Boston and what have you. Now, one of the really interesting things for me was we bring in so much road salt, if you can believe this, into our country from Mexico, Colombia, and Egypt, right? So there's a significant amount of road salt coming in externally. So we really think we've got a great angle on a market with a distribution system that is much more turnkey than anything we're getting right now. And obviously the costs and green gases and whatever. So partnership-wise, so this brings me to, we have an offtake agreement with Scott Wood Industries. I'll talk a little bit about them. We also have a partnership with Sandvik on the execution, project execution and later production for the mine. And we've got this whole shell, right? This whole, inside the sandbox of zero harm, we have this sustainability focus. We've got a low emissions, battery electric, very green. We have some information out there saying we can run our mine in 1 year with the cost of 4 Newfoundland families, and I'm not talking about generations ago when there was 14 kids in every family. I'm talking about a 4-person family, but we did have to include the bar fridges to keep it within the green gas criteria. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're approaching this whole project. So I talked a little bit about Sandvik and ICI. What we're doing is creating a hub, right? And we're bringing in all these partners right up front. So you might have seen some press releases on Sandvik. And the work, Sandvik is coming in to take care of all of our underground equipment, our mine design work. They own Deswick, so they're doing our mine design work. DSI, which is doing our ground support. So there's a whole hub that we've partnered with Sandvik, similar with all the permitting and the logistics and the liaisoning with the government. We brought in ICI to help us through the entire project life cycle. So a few things about this, right? It's very collaborative. You get these partners in early. So typically what you do is you bring in an EPCM, or maybe you go with an owner-run project or an integrated project team. Our choice to go this way is going to be able to allow us to fast-track the project, because you're already bringing in all these partners that can recognize the risks before you do your engineering. And this is really key going forward, because the demand on project success and the environments we all live in today are extreme. So the synergy, and I know that's an overused word, but the synergy of a collaborative approach like this, and if you look at the wagon wheel, others that are coming on are obviously an engineer, an engineering lead, an underground mining constructor, a surface construction, surface earthworks, and the biggest thing for our mining is the logistics associated with the salt through the conveyors and what have you. And all these things tie in, and I could sell you on this, but I've built a lot of mines over my career. I've been burnt a few times. That's why there's no hair in the front of my forehead. But going down the road, this is going to be a significant plus for this project to go ahead the way we have it triggered and going. And I can also say, with recent renovations to my cabin on Manitoulin Island in Ontario, I really wish I would have had an integrated project delivery system to deal with a very troublesome owner who I happen to be married to. It would have made a lot of this a lot easier. So, okay, so talking about the equipment that Sandvik is bringing on, right? We've talked about the fact that with this agreement, once we move forward in more detail with the agreement, they're going to be establishing infrastructure in Stephenville is where they're talking about doing it. So there's the local warehousing benefits for the stimulation of the economy. AutoMine is a technology that allows the optimization of your production plans. We had a model built in the feasibility study for production modeling. This is very much more robust than that, and we'll be able to optimize the mining of our panels, the room and pillar mining that we'll be taking the salt out with. Deswick, our mine design software, they're coming in to do all of our mine design. So now, when we get into detailed engineering, you've got a mine design based on the equipment specifications versus going out to the market halfway through the engineering period and picking up your equipment. This will be very slick for us down the road. DSI with the ground support, new tracks, which when you look at the whole sandbox of zero harm that I talk about is keeping us with proximity detection of people, tracking people underground. It's a very robust system, and they've offered us some attractive financing to work with them going forward. So we have a good slate. There's an example of a plate full of partnership, right? Not just one serving here. We also have this non-binding MOU with Scott Wood Industries. So they produce bagged salt. There's a Canadian joint venture we set up. There's distribution and sale of packaged salt and related projects that they're going to set up for us here in Canada. And they target sales of 1.25 to 1.5. What did I say our base production was? There you go. You guys passed. Some people are awake. God bless you. So 2.5. So that's around half of our production, right? That we've already have a purchaser for. And so if you wonder who these people are, because you don't see them up in Canada at all, it's bagged salt products sold in big box merchandisers, farming, automotive chains, etc., down in the States. But I have a place, we live in Tucson, Arizona, 6 months of the year, and I went to Home Depot thinking I could find some, but they don't have any salt melting products that far south. So ICI, our partnership with ICI. So David Robbins and his team have been instrumental in guiding us through the challenges, fast-tracking our ability to pull all our development plans together to get this record-breaking EA completed and moving us down this path so our physical progress can move in parallel with the permitting. Typically, you find in a big project, the permitting is directly on critical path and you're waiting to get to the next step. We've been able to come up with an execution plan with ICI that allows us to move in parallel, and it's been pretty slick and smooth, and I'm very happy with how it's been progressing. So when you look at our path forward, so what's going to happen in the future? After I finished patting myself in the back for what we've done so far, first of all, give me some applause, please. It's been a great job I've done so far. Let's hear it. Thank you very much. Okay. So what's forward now that all the acclaim is out of the way? Well, we're going to be working on that mine design with Deswick. Very important. because we want to optimize what the plan looks like. Feasibility study, typically 10, 15% engineering, depending on where things are at. We want to get this on steroids. Next thing is the engineering evaluation. We're already working with engineers to come in to be part of this project delivery system that I'm talking about. Very important component. We're in the process of bringing them on. I've been dealing with people at Hatch. As a matter of fact, just today, Tom Wadey from Hatch is here, very interested in helping support me because he grew up with me. So he's forced to be here because he's one of my good friends. But in general, we've got good support from all our engineering, right? Procurement and the partnerships will come in the right order of bringing people on, i.e., I'm not going to be bringing on the mining contractor until I have some strong geotechnical data that tells me what I'm up against. And that brings me to my next slide, is the other work that we've done. Newfoundland Power, Byron Chubbs and his team at Newfoundland Power have been very supportive to us and helping us eliminate rework and all the startup costs associated with our power. And what I mean by that is typically you get to a startup, you're going to have temporary power. We've been able to work with our vendors at Ecotech and Newfoundland Power to come up with a scenario where we can ramp up our power requirements at different stages from the same infrastructure. This saves millions of dollars in fuel and operating gen sets and what have you all the way across the project execution ramp-up period. So very good work there. What else we got? We've talked about this. I'm good with what I've said here. Geotechnical program. Again, very important. As I said, we're not bringing on a mining contractor until we figure out in much more detail what kind of ground we're going to be up against with these red beds that we're driving these twin declines down. So we have a project that's actually starting up next week. We're already doing the earthworks to get this off the ground. We start twisting steel next week with Logan Drilling. And then we've got Terrain and Gemtech helping us on the geotechnical side. This is going to give us a very robust understanding of the ground. If there's anything a miner can tell you, and I'm a miner, is you don't want to discover problems while you're in your mining cycle. This is the time to figure this out. It's an investment that's well worth the money. It's going to reduce the risk for us. So really, it's a 2,700 meter program. There's core logging. There's all sorts of Nintendo stuff that's going to happen. It's very exciting. So this just gives you some perspective. We were just putting this road in last week. If you look below, if you start from the top right-hand corner of the screen, that's the box cut. So we're putting some holes in and around the box cut area to understand how the earthworks contractor will initially be set up and having an understanding of what the impact is going to be on the water table for the town of St. George's. Very important. We're bringing them along. It's a very community collaborative project. They're very well aware of the route that we're going through. And then you can see how the drill layouts associated all the way along the azimuth of each of those declines, right down to the infrastructure. And once you get to the bottom left-hand side of your picture, you can see that's where we start getting into the salt. Biggest risk is always getting down to your salt bed in a salt mine and managing the grout and any potential water. All this geotechnical work is going to be a big driver for us going forward. Next steps, I've talked about 2030, ongoing prep and the timelines associated with it. We're going to continue working with ICI on our construction permitting, the automation work that I discussed, and the programs associated with our mine production, and continue to pull together our IPD partnerships. Path forward, salt is great. Let's rock and roll. Thank you very much.